for everyone, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of seeing people get ripped off. I'm tired of seeing these college athletes.
A new law in California will allow college athletes to receive endorsement money and hire agents.
Former BYU basketball star Jimmer Fredette named to Sports Illustrated All-Decade Team.
Wilson steps through, flips wide open, and caught after a jump.
Russell Wilson played an incredible game as the Seahawks beat the Rams. I'm Paul Swenson.
And I'm Blake O'Rulian. It's time for SportsLine.
Blake, good to see you, my man.
Good to see you. We both lost last week. Our predictions were both wrong.
I'm going to predict it right this week. BYU is not going to lose this weekend.
I've got a better prediction. They're not going to play this weekend.
That's
a major
fair.
change in the world of college athletics.
It's the Fair Pay to Play Act, which gives California athletes the right to earn money from their sports. John Lorink reports.
Talk about a game changer.
Oh, you ready? Let's do it, man. All right.
Senate Bill 206, signed by California Governor Gavin Newsom Monday. It gives college players in the state the right to profit off their name, image, and likeness.
It's a great day for everyone, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of seeing people get ripped off. I'm tired of seeing these college athletes being ripped off.
The Fair Pay to Play Act was signed on The Shop, a show hosted by NBA superstar LeBron James, who went straight from high school to the pros.
If I would have went off to Ohio State, or if I would have went off to any one of these big-time colleges where pretty much that 23 jersey would have got sold all over the place without my name on the back, but everybody would have known the likeness.
If the law survives expected legal battles, it goes into effect in 2023. The NCAA has already voiced its opposition, saying the bill would erase the critical distinction between college and professional athletics.
So many debates going on whether it's good or bad for league. I love player-friendly things that put people in positions to be successful and to get what they're owed and deserved.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The NCAA, which runs a nonprofit, reported $1.1 billion worth of revenue during the 2017 fiscal year.
With that being said, we turn to Hayden to give us the inside scoop on what people on social media have been saying about the new law in California. Hayden, what's the latest on social media?
Yes, thanks, Paul. As you can imagine, the new law has caused quite the stir on social media, with people left, right, and center voicing their opinions. As we already saw, NBA superstar LeBron James has been a huge supporter of the bill, and he tweeted this early back in September when he said, "Everyone is California. Call your politicians and tell them to support SB 206. This law is a game changer. College athletes can responsibly get paid for what they do and the billions they create." Huge support for LeBron on that tweet, thousands of retweets and likes. And then everything culminated this week as the governor signed the bill, as we saw on LeBron's show. And that moment was the basis for this long post from LeBron, when he said, and he thanked those who had helped make the change possible, and ended the post by saying, "To every one of you who have been in this fight, and there are a lot of you, take a bow and be proud. NCAA, you got the next move, and we can solve this for everyone. Hashtag more than an athlete, hashtag game changing." Now, despite the on-court rivalry, Golden State Warrior Draymond Green also offered his support to the changes. He tweeted saying, right here, "Thank you to California Governor Gavin Newsom for his leadership signing the bill, protecting college athletes, and bringing more equality to the multi-billion-dollar industry. At King James, hashtag more than an athlete." And as always, The Onion added their hilarious take on the issue with this sarcastic tweet, when they said, "The new NCAA rule forces athletes to remove all facial features to prevent them from profiting off likeness." And that funny post. That's all from me. Back to you guys.
BYU star quarterback Zach Wilson will watch from the sidelines for the first time in almost a full year. After undergoing surgery this week, the sophomore QB is reportedly out of commission for the time being. BYU football correspondent Kenny Cox said that Wilson underwent a surgical procedure on his right hand, but it is anticipated that he will return at some point this season. The Cougars host their play at South Florida next Saturday. Former BYU Cougar and two-time Super Bowl champion Kyle Van Noy was awarded the AFC Defensive Player of the Week after his dominant performance against the Bills. On Sunday, Van Noy racked up 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 quarterback hits, one of which resulted in the game-clinching interception.
The Seattle Seahawks took care of business in the division, beating the Los Angeles Rams 30-29.
Wilson steps through, flips wide open, and caught after a juggle.
Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson threw for 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Seahawks running back Chris Carson ran all over the Rams with 118 rushing yards. After starting 3-0, the Rams have lost now two games in the past 5 days, dropping them to 3rd in the NFC West.
The NBA season is around the corner, and our own Utah Jazz held their media day this week.
What up, Jazz fans? Donovan Mitchell here. It's going to be an exciting season. We're here on Media Day. Training camp tomorrow. First game on Saturday. Make sure y'all come out. Year 3. Let's get to it. Go Jazz.
The Jazz got to show off new faces such as Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jeff Green, and Ed Davis. Jazz fans can be excited for this upcoming season, with many media outlets placing the Jazz in the top 5 of preseason NBA power rankings. The Jazz play their first exhibition game tomorrow against the Adelaide 36ers at Vivint Smart Home Arena.
The WCC released their preseason rankings for men and women's basketball this week. BYU women's basketball is number 2, with Brenna Chase, Drawlinger, Sarah Hampson, and Paisley Johnson named to the all-WCC preseason teams. BYU men's basketball finished 3rd in the preseason ranking, with seniors Yoli Childs and TJ Haws receiving WCC preseason team honors. The men's team is currently struggling with injuries, with Gavin Baxter injuring his shoulder this week, possibly putting him out for this season. TJ Haws and Zach Celius, while currently injured, are expected to be back for the starter of the season.
BYU's own Jimmer Fredette was named to the Sports Illustrated All-Decade Second Team this week, joining the likes of Jalen Brunson, Jared Solinger, and Jalil Okafor. Let's take a look at just a few of the moments that swept the nation with Jimmer Mania.
Here comes Jimmer. Long range!
Hey, Mighty Quinn, what's up? Can you teach me how to Jimmer? Well, sit back and relax and just let this thought simmer, cause it seems that these days.
Reset. Straight away, Jimmer. Jimmer drives the lane, got past Gary, finger roll for the score.
Jimmer for that, hey, nothing but net. Crazy. See in the days, no defense can phase. 30 footers he raises, always amazes. Nothing but praise, TJ taught him in phases. Boy, is the truth, how do you know? Cause Nelly said it, he's the real King of James. What should I do? Just forget it. BOI's come and go, handle your business. Supposedly the best, what you talking about, Willis?
Burnett for 3.
We'll be blushing like a portly pirate poet saying, I'm in love and I just don't care who knows it.
Teach me how to Jimmer. Teach me how to Jimmer. Teach me how to Jimmer. Teach me how to Jimmer.
Here, just inside the ribbon here.
Jimmer crossing over on Phil McDonald, shoots a 28-footer over him. Got it! 47 for Jimmer!
His mother named him Jimmer. He likes to bring the hammer. He kinda does a shimmer, but he's not much of a jammer.
Wow, look at the legs. Look at the legs. He doesn't need much time.
Stopping, popping, dudes blowing your mind, dropping dimes, or even just getting to the line. No.
While Jimmer's days playing basketball in the United States might be over, the former BYU guard found success overseas. Jimmer scored 11 points in 25 minutes with Greek club Panathinaikos last night.
An Eagles fan is taking money originally meant for him and giving it to cancer research.
I mean, I would like to do something with it, turn it into more of a positive.
We'll tell you what unorthodox method started this fundraising campaign.
BYU women's volleyball has another dominating performance.
Rapinoe curling it inside. The U.S. is on the board.
We'll tell you what U.S. women's national team record the head coach broke last night.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Attention travelers. Next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Water, phone, and internet service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
A Philly sports fan is putting his tattooed torso to good use.
Photos of Rob Dunphy's tattoos went viral last week when his Eagles played the Packers. And as Alexandria Hoff found out, all that attention gave his tattoo artist an idea.
It's a landscape, a mosaic, a tribute to Philadelphia fandom, and the canvas, 26-year-old Ron Dunphy's body.
The only person that really doesn't care for them is my grandpa. Still to this day. Like, we even had the game, he was texting my dad at halftime saying, tell Fathead to put his shirt on.
In Thursday's game against the Packers, the Eagles came out big, but it was game footage of Dunphy's ink eagle, bridge, bell, and the belly button that stole the show.
Got the whole thing outlined at once, and we went from there. He put the Fanatic where it was, and I liked it, so we ran with it.
He came in one day and wanted a whole Philadelphia chest piece.
But the piece isn't yet complete. A Sixers tribute still needs to be added, and
North Catholic is going to be in here somewhere. It was originally over here, but since Gritty came about, we got no idea. We're going to have to throw him in there somewhere.
a GoFundMe was quickly created to fund the rest of Dunphy's ink.
Maybe we can turn this into a good thing. So I texted Rob and I was like, if you can reach 10,000 and donate it to charity, I'll finish it for free.
Dunphy chose to donate the money to Storm the Heavens, a charity that funds research for DIPG.
Which is diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. It's a uniformly fatal form of brain cancer that affects mostly children under the age of 11.
In 2017, Mina Carroll's 8-year-old daughter, Philomena, passed away due to DIPG. With this, Ron Dunphy doesn't mind all of this new attention.
I mean, I would like to do something with it, turn it into more of a positive.
When an ordinary person gets a moment of fame and they choose to do good with it and to use it to be the voice for those who have no voice, it's extraordinary, and we are so, so grateful.
As of Monday night, that GoFundMe page had surpassed the $10,000 mark.
The MLB playoffs are underway.
We'll tell you who won and how they did it.
Whitaker and Adesanya are going to break every live gate record in the history of the sport.
The UFC Middleweight Championship of the World is on the line, and we'll tell you why it's the biggest event in oceanic sports history.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. Will the dreams you're dreaming come to you? When the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Yeah.
About 8 million high school students participate in athletics across the nation, but only a small fraction go on to play in college. Sportsline's Lindsay Peterson went to find out what it takes for those high school kids to get to the next level.
Long gone are the days where high school athletes go to their high school practice for an hour and a half and call it a day.
Weights at 5 a.m. at the high school, and then I have school, and then after high school I'll hit for an hour, and then I'll work out again, and then I'll go throw and do my recovery.
Extra hours at the gym are a must for young athletes wanting to play at the next level.
You have to sacrifice friend groups, dates, everything.
You can go to practice for an hour and that's great, but it's what people are doing outside of practice that takes them to the next level.
Dave and Carrie Stroshine own Stro Formans, a gym specialized for young athletes.
Knees up, good.
The Stroshines have even worked with pros such as Taysom Hill, Eric Mika, and Daniel Sorensen. So it's safe to say they know what it takes to get athletes to the next level.
It's a year-round commitment to a lot of various aspects of each sport. Like, that's what it's turned into.
8.1% of female high school athletes and 6.2% of male go on to play a sport in college. So besides God-given talent, what separates the good from the great?
But to be great, you have to be willing to do what others are not.
And so what about the 93% of high school athletes who also put in literal blood, sweat, and tears for their sport but don't go on to play in college? Is it even worth it?
100%, 1,000%. If you can take these lessons that you learn in sports and take the work ethic and take the preparation and the attention to details and all those aspects that go along with what it takes to be a high-level athlete, then you're gonna succeed in life.
In Pleasant Grove for Sportsline, I'm Lindsay Peterson.
BYU women's volleyball team cannot be stopped as they extended their win streak to 7 last night against the University of the Pacific. With this win, the Cougars continue to make a case for being one of the top teams in the country. Not only is this their 7th straight win, but it's their 11th in 12 games. McKenna Miller led the team in scoring with 13.5 points, while Whitney Bauer was setting everyone up, finishing the match with 22 assists. The Cougars hope to extend their win streak to 8 against St. Mary's tomorrow at 2 p.m.
The BYU women's cross-country team is ranked 4th in the nation. The team jumped 2 spots in the rankings after individual and team wins, with 3 of their runners taking 1st, 2nd, and 4th at the Bill Dellinger Invitational last weekend. All-American senior Courtney Wayment credits the team's success to diligence.
It's a lot of hard work. You got to make a lot of sacrifices. We're all about making sacrifices in the season and really focusing on doing everything that Coach Taylor asked us to do.
The team has claimed this spot 8 times since 1995, and this event marks the women's highest ranking in season since 2005. The ladies are working hard to prepare for the Pre-Nationals Invitational on October 19th in Indiana.
Not many people think of military training as a sport, but BYU's ROTC Ranger Challenge team is preparing for a regional competition in Wyoming this weekend. The competition occurs over a 2-day period, covering about 30 miles. The team will take on multiple challenges, including functional fitness exercises, casualty care, land navigation, and testing their weapon skills. Ranger Challenge team captain Cadet Garrett Falk says how this is more than just a competition.
A friend of mine that was doing Ranger Challenge, he convinced me to join, and then so since my sophomore year I've been doing this, and I've really enjoyed it, and the relationships that I've made with other people.
Cadets trained throughout the summer, and even those who were out of town were given workout plans. The team has a lot of early mornings and even sacrificed weekends to prepare them for this competition. We're wishing them luck this weekend as they take on this challenge.
BYU's campus clubs are starting back up, and so is the Hip Hop Club.
That's a really sick.
Each week, Hip Hop Club members learn new choreography from a student or guest choreographer. Students do not need to have any background in dance to participate, and all skill levels are welcome. In fact, club president Elizabeth Williams says she never even did hip-hop dance until she came to BYU.
I was a freshman, and I started to come because I loved to hip-hop dance, and now I'm coming for the last 2 years, and I've loved it so much. So.
At this week's meeting, a group of about 50 people learned a lively routine. Williams says the club has a fun, inviting atmosphere and that everyone enjoys dancing together for the hour that they have each week. If you're interested in attending next week's meeting, the Hip Hop Club dances Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the East Ballroom of the Wilkinson Center.
Every Saturday morning, players from across the world living in Utah come together to play soccer at Lone Peak High School. Players bring a diverse cultural experience through soccer, which is shared on the pitch and after the game. Ken Cromar has been organizing the game for almost 12 years. He says every Saturday when the players show up, they have a lot of fun and build new friendships.
and things like that. We just love each other, we love the game, we love to play, and we're just a little mini United Nations soccer unit here. It's a lot of fun.
The players are invited to participate after trying out, and there are high expectations of sportsmanship on the pitch. Slide tackles are discouraged during matches. The players are also encouraged to show respect to each other and avoid confrontations.
United States women's national team head coach Jill Ellis is now the winningest coach in the team's history.
Rapinoe curling it inside.
The U.S. women's national team beat the Korea Republic 2-0 last night as part of their World Cup victory tour to give head coach Jill Ellis her 106th win. This win passes the late Tony DeSico. Ellis would coach her final game for the U.S. on Sunday before stepping down as head coach. She will, however, continue with the team as a U.S. soccer ambassador.
The UFC returns to Melbourne, Australia tomorrow for the biggest sporting event in oceanic history and the middleweight title of the world on the line.
Whitaker and Adesanya are going to break every live gate record in the history of the sport.
The main event will take place at Marvel Stadium, a 60,000-seat arena. It is expected to break the current UFC attendance record of 56,000, which has been held since 2015. That event was also in Melbourne. UFC 243 will host undefeated interim champion Israel Adesanya, a New Zealand kickboxer, as well as the return of the current champion Robert Whitaker, an Australian mixed martial artist.
The MLB postseason is in full swing with the Cardinals and the Dodgers stealing their first games of their respective series. The St. Louis Cardinals snuck out a win against the Braves in Atlanta. With the game all tied up at 3 going into the 9th, the Cardinals were able to sneak out 4 runs in the final inning, while the Braves could only bring in 3. The Los Angeles Dodgers, on the other hand, came to play, beating the Washington Nationals 6-0. Both series will return to play today, as well as Game 1 of both the Tampa Bay Rays versus Houston Astros and the Minnesota Twins against the New York Yankees. Coming up is our top plays of the week.
We'll show you who made the cut.
Look into my eyes, you will see what you mean to me. Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you.
Here are your top plays of the week.
In a Champions League matchup between Barcelona and Inter Milan, Barca's Luis Suarez hit an incredible volley to tie the game. Suarez would go on to score again and win the game for Barcelona. Washington Nationals outfielder Juan Soto comes up in the clutch with a 3 RBI single to send his team to the NLDS.
Coming in at number 1 this week, Seattle Seahawks receiver Tyler Lockett tiptoes in for the touchdown.
It's time for this week's matchups. With BYU and Utah being on byes this week, we'll talk about some of the other great games going on in college football. First of all, let's talk about Iowa and Michigan. Blake, who do you got?
I've got Iowa winning. Let's not forget Michigan's close loss to an unranked Army team very recently. Let's not forget about that. I've got Iowa winning, and Michigan being at home doesn't really matter. It's going to be Iowa.
Yeah, I got Michigan winning this one. I have a lot of faith in Shea Patterson, and I think they'll bounce back from that bad loss at Wisconsin.
I don't know. I think Iowa's going to win. They're undefeated this season, so I think they might take it home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Michigan's one of those teams that's always overrated. I'm going to go with Iowa. Another good game we have going on is Auburn and Florida. Blake, what do you think?
I've got Auburn winning this one. Florida hasn't been nearly as tested as Auburn has been this season, so I'm going with Auburn.
I'm going with Florida. I have some buddies down there in Gainesville, and I think that backup quarterback has been going off, and I think I have a lot of faith in him.
Yeah, I have Auburn winning. I think that they have been having a really good season, and they are ranked higher than Florida, so I think they have it.
I think Florida's going to win this one. I think their defense is just really good. Florida always has a great defense. I like Florida in this one.
Here's a look at what's going on with a few of BYU's teams this weekend. Both the men's and women's swim team will be in Colorado tonight and tomorrow for the Intermountain Shootout. The women's volleyball team will be in action tomorrow, taking on St. Mary's in the Bay Area. The women's soccer team will also be in the Bay Area tomorrow, playing at Santa Clara. And the baseball team will travel up to Salt Lake tomorrow to take on Utah. That's Sportsline for today, Friday,
October 4th.
The 4th, yes, it is. The 4th.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and don't forget, go Cougars.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.